Joining us today is a passionate educator whose heart beats for literacy, learning, and learners. Teacher Anne Sheila Tan Choi is a seasoned reading education specialist with deep expertise in reading remediation and early literacy development. She currently serves as the Center Manager and Reading Intervention Specialist at the Center for Reading Assessment and Intervention, where she champions learner centered, research based reading support. She's also a longtime senior lecturer at UP Open University, shaping future educators since 2008. Teacher Anne holds a bachelor's degree in psychology and a master's degree in education, both from the University of the Philippines, Diliman. And just this year, she earned an impressive overall IELTS score from the British Council, proving that lifelong learning is truly in her DNA. As a seasoned educator, she brings both wisdom and warmth to her work, and we're very fortunate to have her share her insights with us today. So mga ka-collab, let's all give our warmest welcome to Teacher Anne Sheila Tan Choi.
Hello.
Welcome, Teacher Anne. How are you this bright Saturday morning, teacher?
I'm super excited and super nervous actually to be here in front of you. Hello, Teacher Erica. And I can't help but look at you because I know that we're just sitting beside each other.
Yeah.
Mga ka-collab, magandang umaga sa inyong lahat.
Wow, it's so great to know that you are feeling very bright. No, and I hope, Teacher Anne, that you've had a good breakfast dahil alam kong ang ating mga ka-collabs are hungry and ready for all the learnings and insights that they will glean from you. And with that, take it away, Teacher Anne.
All right. We are here today to talk about two topics. We already, Teacher Erica already mentioned, no? Our first topic for today is all about vocabulary. Ayan, so vocabulary. Handa na po ba tayo? All right. At the end of this session, we hope that you will be able to define what vocabulary is, understand its critical role in comprehension, and of course, identify the signs of vocabulary difficulties in your student. So sana ma-identify natin, no, sino ba yung mga estudyanteng may difficulties sa vocabulary at paano ko sila matutulungan. We also aim to identify strategies, effective strategies that will help our students develop their vocabulary, and we will also apply these strategies as we go along today. All right. For our first activity, can you guys try to read the text that you see or the sentence that you see on the screen? Can you read it? Nabasa niyo na po ba? All right. My next question, did you understand it? Sige nga. Show of hands po, no? Sino po yung nakabasa kanina nung sentence? Give me a thumbs up if you think you know what this sentence is saying. Yes daw po. May nag-yes, may nag-thumbs up. Alright, sa mga nag-yes po, ano kaya ang ibig sabihin nitong sentence na ito? Pero meron ding mga nag-no. Merong honestly no, sabi nung iba. Alright? Let's see. What if I change one of the words in the sentence? So yung sentence na po natin ngayon ay, the hungry blurk gland over the vintal trill. Yan, may nagsabi na po. I can read it, but I can't understand it. There are some words, but I'm not really familiar. I don't understand the sentence. So these are what we are saying. But when we added the word hungry, did it make more sense? Hindi pa rin daw gets. May idea ba kayo kung ano yung blurk? What does it mean? All right, so we have words here that we already know, the hungry over. Tatlo na yung words na alam natin. Let's add another word. Ayan. The hungry blur glad over the wooden trail. Mas naiintindihan na po ba natin? Sa mga sa mga nakakaintindi, because I see some yes already. Sa mga nag-yes po, can you tell us what you think the sentence means? The hungry bird perched on the tall tree. There you go. That's a guess. The hungry bird perched on the tall tree. But for some, they say that it still doesn't make sense. It makes more sense, but I still can't understand it, said some of our Kakao labs, no? So this is what happens actually when our learners are reading the words, but they don't really understand the meaning of the words. But if naintindihan po natin lahat ng words, like in this sentence, no, the hungry lion jumped over the wooden fence. Can you understand it na? So yan, may mga hula na po tayo. A strange or lively creature looked or moved over a special kind of tree. The hungry bird glanced over the wooden tree. A hungry bird landed over on a wooden tree. Ayan, so the hungry lion actually jumped over the wooden fence. And that's actually what's happening again is when we read a sentence and we don't really understand all the words in the sentence, we kind of just guess. We kind of just guess what the sentence is saying, pero hindi 100% yung comprehension natin. Pero kapag naiintindihan natin lahat ng words dun sa sentence, then we get 100% comprehension. So ngayon, ang sagot na po ng lahat, yes. They can read it and they can understand it. And this one just really tells us the importance of vocabulary as part of skilled reading. So you can see, no, if you're familiar with Scarborough's reading rope, yung mga nasa baba po, yung word recognition strategy, ito po yung mga diniscuss ni Teacher Daisy last week. Phonological awareness, decoding, sight recognition. These are the skills that we need to make us decode the words. Di po ba? But without the upper strands, without the language comprehension aspect, particularly vocabulary, yung naka-highlight po sa atin ngayon, hindi po natin naiintindihan. So again, it's not enough for us to be able to decode the words and read the words. We also need to be able to apply language comprehension strategies like vocabulary, background knowledge, verbal reasoning in order for us to say that we are really reading. So what is vocabulary anyway? Vocabulary is the knowledge of words and word parts, including roots and affixes. So later, pag-uusapan natin yung mga word parts. And of course, vocabulary is tied to the meaning of the word and how it is used in a sentence. Vocabulary is essential for both comprehension and effective communication. Kita natin dun sa exercise kanina how important vocabulary is for reading comprehension. Now, what are some warning signs that will tell us that our students are having difficulties in vocabulary? Here are some signs, red flags, kumbaga. Red flags sa mga estudyante natin. Kapag pinapabasa natin sila and they skip or replace unfamiliar words in a sentence. Hindi nila alam basahin, they just skip over it. Or they struggle with words in math and science. They struggle with word meanings in math and science. Hindi nila alam anong ibig sabihin ng one less than, ganyan. Or they use the same simple words when you are asking them something. For example, make a sentence. The tree is tall. The girl is beautiful. The car is red. So parang ganun na lang parati yung mga sentences. Very, very simple sentences. Kasi they don't have enough vocabulary to be able to express themselves more clearly. Other signs, they are reading, but they can't answer the questions. Just like what happened to us a while ago. We read a sentence. The Zanti blurk glad over the vintal trail. Pero hindi natin maintindihan what it is. So that's a definite red flag of vocabulary difficulty. Or Maybe they don't remember new words even after you explain it to them. So that's another sign of vocabulary difficulty. Another sign is that they have difficulty following instructions with several steps. All right. So you give them like 2-step or 3-step instructions, and then they have a hard time understanding or following through. Finally, they struggle to understand words with more than one meaning or expression, like saying. So, for example, you say, "You are the apple of my eye." And in their head, maybe they imagine that there's an apple in front of your eye, but that's not actually what you mean. No? So, ibig sabihin yung mga figurative language, idiomatic expressions, hindi nila naiintindihan. So, that's another sign of vocabulary difficulty. All right? Any questions so far? So these are our red flags, di po ba? Yan yung mga titignan-tignan natin sa mga estudyante natin para malaman if they have vocabulary difficulties. Now, let me ask you teachers, mga ka-collabs, I need you to tell me ano-ano po yung mga ginagawa ninyo para malaman ninyo if your children or your students have vocabulary difficulties. So I will be showing some sentences here on the slides, and then you have to use your reaction buttons to tell me kung ginagawa niyo po ba ito. Alright? So you can use your clap function, your heart function, or your heart reaction, or your thumbs up reaction if you're doing these things. Alright. Number 1, do you listen, then stop and use words? Sige nga po. Palitaan niyo po ako. Do you ask students to explain what new words mean? Kung ginagawa niyo po ito, show me a heart reaction on your screens. And then finally, do you also check if students can follow directions with several steps? So sadya niyo po bang ginagawa na nagbibigay kayo ng multi-step instructions and then chine-check niyo kung naiintindihan nila? Ayan. So I have thumbs up. I have thumbs up here and hearts and yeses. So ginagawa niyo po itong tatlo. So that's great, no? So these are just some of the things that we can use to identify whether or not our children have vocabulary difficulties. So my hearts, ayan. You ask them to explain what new words mean. So after you discuss, you ask them to explain it, di ba? Alright, meron pa. Let's see. Ginagawa niyo rin po ba ito? Do you prompt students to use new words in speaking or listening? Or writing pala, sorry. Do you prompt students to use new words in speaking or writing? So, for example, after discussing the word graceful, kids, I want you to try to use the word graceful in a sentence. Do you do that? Walang walang clap dito sa chat natin, pero heart na lang po, no? If you do this one, do you read their sentences and written responses and check yung mga words na ginagamit niya? Is it too simple? Paulit-ulit na lang. The car is nice, the girl is nice, the dress is nice, no? Kasi yun lang yung alam ng word na gamitin. Or it can also be off-topic. You ask them something about community helpers and they answer you something about landforms. Nako, hindi pala kayo nagkaintindihan, okay? Or you are not sure how to tell if a learner has vocabulary difficulties. So kapag hindi po tayo sigurado kung ano yung dapat nating gawin, show me a thumbs up. Ayan, I see a lot of hearts. Thank you so much for that. So I'm so happy to see that you guys are reading, no? Checking their written outputs to see whether or not they are using the words that you have been teaching them or kung hindi nila ginagamit ito at paulit-ulit lang yung mga words na ginagamit nila. All right, so thank you again. So again, these are just some of the things that we can do to check if our learners have vocabulary difficulties. Now, let's go to teaching and developing vocabulary. Before we go into that, let me just ask, natuturo po ba ang vocabulary or natural po ba itong nade-develop at na-acquire ng mga estudyante natin? So again, the question is, do you think we can or we should explicitly teach vocabulary? Or is it naturally acquired by our students when we discuss with them, when we do read alouds? What do you think? Dito na lang. Ay, sorry. So the question again, no? Do you think it's do you think it's do you think that vocabulary is naturally acquired by our students or should we teach it to them explicitly? So both ways, tama. Ayan, both. Ayan, perfect. All right. So tama po kayo mga ka-collabs, both po, no? So we actually do explicitly teach some vocabulary and also children or our learners naturally acquire vocabulary through exposure to words. So both. Mahalagang maintindihan natin that there are ways to develop vocabulary and by explicitly teaching them, these are some of the things that we have to do. Number one, we actually discuss words and their components. So, mamaya, pag-uusapan natin kung paano ito gagawin, no? And then we also, it's important for us also to use words in a variety of contexts. So, hindi lang gagamitin yung isang word, yung isang new word in one sentence, but we expose the word and we use the word in multiple contexts. And then, we have to also help our learners teach to learn words on their own. So we give them strategies to help them learn words on their own. And then we provide repeated exposure and practice. So I'll just give you a quick example of discussing words and their components. For example, the word is incomparable. The word is incomparable, and then you can ask the students to break it down. You know, the word incomparable actually has three parts. In, compare, the root word there is compare, and then it has a suffix able. Okay, so the root word compare means you are talking about two different things. But if you add the suffix able, that means you are able to compare something. So comparable means you are able to compare. And then if you add the prefix in, that means not. The words are not, the word incomparable means that hindi mo siya pwedeng i-compare sa iba. Incomparable. So, ganun po yung pag-discuss ng words and their components kasi bine-breakdown natin siya para magagamit niya yung mga word, yung mga tinuro natin na prefixes and suffixes. Halimbawa, yung in. Pag nakita niya yung prefix na in sa word na inactive, ay sabi ni teacher, yung in, ibig sabihin not. So, yung incomparable means not comparable. Yung inactive means not active. So, nagkakaroon sila ng strategies for identifying what the word means based on what we teach them. So that's just an example. And now let's go to the different parts of the brain that we use when we are reading and understanding words. So I'm not gonna complicate the discussion, no? I just wanted to show that there are different parts of the brain that work together when we read. Meron ditong part na phonological processor, yung sinasound out niya yung word. Halimbawa, yung word ay bug. So, babasahin ng bata, bug. Nakikita niya yon. So, meron ding part ng brain that looks at the visual cues. At meron part ng brain na na-activate yung different meanings of the word. And we will go to this in greater detail. So, again, the different parts of the brain work together. Ang tawag dito ay yung 4-part processing model for word recognition. So, nagsisimula siya sa visual stimulus. Nakita nung bata yung bug, B-U-G, bug. Okay, so that's the orthographic processor connected with the phonological processor. Nakita niya yung B-U-G, i-connect niya yun sa sounds. B-A-G. So, pag na-connect niya yung B-A-G as bug, ma-activate na ngayon yung meaning ng word. And the word bug actually has 3 different meanings. So it can be a bug, it can be an insect, like a ladybug, can be a bug like a spy device, something that you put, for example, on somebody's phone if you want to listen to their conversation. That's a bug or a bugging device, no? Or it can also mean a verb, like to annoy. This kid is bugging me, or my sister is bugging me. So all of these meanings are actually activated when we hear the word bug. And then it will now depend on the context of the sentence kung para ma-confirm kung alin ba yung totoong meaning nung salitang bug in this context. So halimbawa, you are reading a spy story, then yung maa-activate na meaning at yung tamang meaning for the word bug is actually the listening device. right? So there. This is just one of the examples, no, of the many ways by which the different parts of our brain work together when we are trying to read and understand something. So again, the phonological and orthographic processors, we talked about that last week with Teacher Daisy. Pero hindi enough yun, mahalagang makonect sa meaning ng word. Tapos yung context will tell us or confirm whether or not the meaning is correct. Pag hindi tama yung context, then ibang meaning dapat yung maa-activate. Another example here is the letters, W-I-N-D. Basahin po natin. Ano po yung, pag nakita niyo po yung letters W-I-N-D, ano po yung basa natin doon? At ano ang ibig sabihin nun? W-I-N-D. Ano po ang ibig sabihin nung salitang yon? I'll wait for your answers, ha? Okay, so I see that you typed the word, no? Ano po yung... Ayun, may nakita na ako. Merong nakasulat na wind at saka wind. W-A-Y-N-D. Kasi dalawa po yung pronunciation natin, no, ng W-I-N-D. Pwede siyang wind as in moving air. Pwede rin siyang wind as in the verb where you're winding up something like a music box, di ba? So dalawa yung meanings ng wind. Dalawa yung pwede nating matrigger sa brain natin when we see the letters W-I-N-D. And then, it will now depend on the context of the sentence. So pag pinag-uusapan yung halimbawa, may toy na hindi gumagalaw because it needs to be wind up, no? Kailangan nating i-wind yung toy. Then, ang babasahin natin, in milliseconds, no? Yung matitrigger sa brain natin is the wind as in the verb wind, to wind up something. Alright, so that's just another example of how the phonological processor, the orthographic processor, the meaning processor, and the context all work together when we are reading something. All right? Now, let's go to how do we now teach vocabulary explicitly. And we will go through the 4 steps for this procedure. All right? So, simple lang po, no? 4 lang po yung steps natin. Select, prepare, design, and develop. For select, we have to select the words that we will teach. Select the words that you will teach and later we will talk about paano nga ba tayo pipili ng mga salitang ituturo natin. Alright? And then next, we prepare. We prepare a kid-friendly definition of the word. For design, we will design meaningful activities for using the words in a variety of contexts. And finally, for develop, we will develop assessments that gauge students' understanding of the word. So, 4 ha? Select the word, prepare a definition, design your activity, and then develop your assessments. And we will go through these steps one by one. Alright. So, sa pagpili ng word, ang sabi ni Lynn Stone, the best word list is a book. Alright. Sino po ba sa ating mga ka-collabs or teachers yung meron po ba kayong listahan? Halimbawa, do you guys have a list of 100 words that grade 1 students should know? 100 words that grade 2 students should know? 100 words that grade 3 students should know? Meron po ba tayong ganitong klaseng definitive list of words per grade level na alam dapat ng mga bata? Meron po ba tayong ganitong reference? Okay, tignan natin. Or, kung wala po kayong list of that kind of, yung ganun klase, Dolch po yung ginagamit ninyo. So, isa-isa po ba nating tinuturo lahat ng words doon sa Dolch list? Or fry words? Yes. Ayan. So, some of you say you have a list of basic sight words. At ang basic sight words po ba, that covers all grade levels? Kung ginagamit po yung Dolch at fry sa grade 1, Same din po ba yung tinuturo sa grade 2, sa grade 3, sa grade 4, sa grade 5 at grade 6? Alright. So aside from sight words are again, no, if you just to make sure that we are understanding each other, sight words are actually used to are high frequency words. Tama po ba? High frequency words, ibig sabihin kailangan pong alam nila to by sight kasi madalas po itong nakikita sa mga libro. So basic sight words yung tinuturo natin. Pero pagka basic sight words po, by grade 3, kunyari, alam na nila yung basic sight words, tuturo pa rin po ba natin siya? Yes, there is complexity. Sabi po ni Kakolab Andy, meron pong iba't ibang complexity ng words depending on their grade level. By grade level po. Alright. And meron naman pong si Kakolab Cherry, she said, we craft our own words for every grade level po. Saan po kayo naghahanap ng mga words na tuturo ninyo? So, one of the guidelines that we can use is actually the books that we are reading. So, kung meron po tayong mga books na binabasa sa kanila, doon tayo magandang pumili ng mga words that we will teach for our learners. So, for example, babasahin ko po sa kanila ang kwentong Tori the Brave. So, nakikita niyo po sa screen, no, yung kwentong Tori the Brave. This is one of the stories from Let's Read Asia. And it's about a cicada. Yung insect po na nakatayo doon sa branch is a cicada. And meron pong black crow na papalapit sa kanya. Alright? At ang kwento po ito ay pinamagatang Tori the Brave. So dito po ako kukuha ng mga words that we will discuss for today. So again, you can get words from the book that you are reading and then you select the words according based on these 3 criterias. Number 1, importante po ba yung word na ito para maintindihan nila yung kwento? Okay? Pangalawa, useful ba ang word na ito dahil magagamit pa itong word na ito sa ibang context? Okay? At pangatlo, is the word difficult enough such that the students, and you think that most of the students don't know what the word means? Okay? So again, these are our 3 guidelines. The word should be important for the story to be understood. The word should be useful. That means it can also occur or it can also be used in other contexts, not just in this story. And finally, it should be difficult enough that you think most of your students don't really understand this word. Parang unlocking of difficulties po, sabi ni Kakolab Joel. Words from our lesson. All right. So words from the books that you will read. And the word that I chose for today is the word swooped. Okay? Because in the story, there was this black crow that swooped down and tried to hurt our main character. Yes, we get words from books and stories po according to Kakolab Clarissa. Okay. So, napili ko na po yung word na swoop. Okay? So, select. Yan po yung first step po natin sa explicit teaching, no? First step is we select the word and I was able to select the word swoop. Now, the second step is we have to prepare a kid-friendly definition of the word. So, I have here 4 definitions of the word swoop. Which of the following definitions should we use to unlock the word swoop? Pili po tayo. A, B, C, or D. So, i-type nyo po sa chat box, no? Alin dito ang pinakamagandang definition of the word swoop? A, to move with a sweep. B, to sweep or pounce suddenly. C, move down quickly to grab or catch something. D, flew down fast to get something. Wow! Thank you so much mga kakolabs. I can see a lot of you already answering C, D. Ayan. May pumili. Ayan. I saw some A's. But it's mostly C. Very good. All right. So, Remember, no, when we are preparing a definition, it has to be a kid-friendly definition. So if you chose letter C or letter D, tama po kayo kasi these are kid-friendly definitions of the word. So again, when we are explicitly talking about or developing a vocabulary, we don't just get the dictionary, get the first definition there from the dictionary and use it in our classrooms. So, ito po, itong mga words na to move with a sweep or to sweep or pound suddenly, these are unaltered dictionary definitions. So, when I was preparing, kumuha lang po ako ng meaning from the dictionary. But I can't really use this kasi pag sinabi mong to move with a sweep, baka hindi naman nila maintindihan ano yung ibig sabihin ng sweep or lalo na yung pounds, no? So, when we use a kid-friendly definition, we try to use more simple words para mas maintindihan nila kung ano nga ba talaga ang ibig sabihin ng salitang swoop. Okay? So, it can either be C or D. Move down quickly to grab or catch something. I think all of the kids that in grades 1 to 3, they probably know moved, quickly, grab. Oh, parang alam na nila yung mga meaning yan. Or flew down fast to get something. So that's our step 2. Prepare a kid-friendly definition. So alam na po natin yung step 2. Now let's go to step 3. Design an activity. The design here that we will talk about today is actually our secret word. Possum. Ano nga ba ang ibig sabihin ng salitang possum? So nakikita niyo po yung drawing ng hayop nandun sa ating side, the left side of our deck, no? Meron diyang mammal. There's a tiny mammal there with babies at the back. So that's a possum. That's an illustration of possum. But we are not really going to talk about the mammal possum, but we're actually going to use the letters P-O-S-S-U-M to use in our vocabulary activity. So possum stands for, the P in possum stands for phonology or sounds in words. The O in possum stands for orthography or the spelling of the word. The S, the first S in possum is the syntax. Paano ba ginagamit yung salitang swoop sa sentence, okay? And then we have semantics or the meaning, and then you have letter U for understanding, and finally we have morphology. Ano ba yung parts ng word ng possum? Alright? So bakit kailangan ma-discuss lahat ng P-O-S-S-U-M ng isang word? Okay, if you will think about our brain as a wall. Halimbawa, no, may wall dyan sa likod. Okay. Tapos yung mga words na tinuturo natin, yung mga vocabulary words na tinuturo natin, we want the words to stick. Gusto natin, dumikit yun dun sa wall nila, which is the wall there. Halimbawa sa likod is the brain, no? So if we want the words to stick in their brains, we want to use as many hooks as possible. Lalo na kung mabigat yung word. Kaya ba yan ng isang masking tape lang? Ididikit mo yung word sa wall gamit ng isang masking tape lang. Di ba hindi? So gusto nating dumikit yung word, we use a lot of tapes. So ganito rin yung paggamit natin ng possum strategy. We also use the different components of the word. 6 na components of the word para sigurado nating mag-stick talaga yung word doon sa brain nila. Alright? And the more sticks, the more sticky tack or the more tape, the better it will be retained in the child's brain. So we hook it to as many parts of the brain as possible. So again, no, i-connect natin kanina dun sa picture ng brain na maraming iba't ibang parts ng brain yung gumagana. So we want all these different parts of the brain activated when we are teaching a new word to make sure that the word sticks. So let's go to the word swoop. All right. Okay, so let's go back to our word. The word is swoop. And the first letter is letter P, which stands for phonology. How does the word sound? So you will say the word swoop has these sounds. S, w, u. So the word swoop has 5 sounds. S, w, u. Okay, so yun po, no? We break down the word into its component sounds. 5 sounds in the word swooped. Next, orthography. Letter O is for orthography. How is the word spelled? So again, given the 5 sounds, the first sound is S, and we represent that with the letter S. All right? The next sound is W, and we represent that with the letter W. So susulat po ni teacher yung letter W. The next sound, U, is represented by 2 letter O's. So the sound U is represented by 2 O's, and then the next sound is P. It's represented by the letter P. So we have swoop, and the last sound in the word swoop, swoop. It's represented by the letters ED. ED here indicates past tense, and the ED here is sounded out with the T sound. Okay, so that's the orthography or the spelling of the word swoop. So the sounds are represented by the letters S, W, O, O, P, E, D. And then we use it in a sentence. The hungry bird swooped down to catch the worm. And in this sentence, the hungry bird swooped down to catch the worm. The word swoop is used as an action word or a verb. It's describing the action of the hungry bird. What did the hungry bird do? The hungry bird swooped down to catch the worm. And then we discuss the meaning of the word. So in this sentence, the hungry bird swooped down to catch the worm. The word swoop here means flew down to get something. Or you can also say he moved down quickly because he wanted to catch the worm. So this is where the kid-friendly definition of the word will be used when we talk about the meaning of the word. And then, you can also use this part to actually show a video para maging multimedia yung discussion natin ng word, no? So you can actually show a video of how a bird would swoop down para mas ma-imagine nila. Ano nga ba yung itsura ng bird kapag ito ay nagsuswoop? Alright. And then you can ask them to use the word in different contexts. So the teacher can say, you can also use the word swoop in this sentence. The police swooped in and captured the criminals. So in this sentence, the police swooped in and captured the criminals. They actually moved very quickly. They had to move very quickly so that they can catch the criminals. How about you? Okay, learners, ano kaya yung mga different contexts or different situations where the word swoop can be used? And maybe the child can say, you know what, teacher? My friends swooped in on me when they saw my shiny new toy. Ang bilis nilang lumapit sa akin. So that's the word swoop in another context. So again, you can see if the child can use the word in different contexts, not just in the sentence or not just in the context that you provided. And then you discuss the different parts of the word swoop. So in the word swoop, we have the base word swoop, which means move, a quick downward movement. And then the ED there indicates past tense. But you can also add ing to the word swoop, and the word swooping means it's happening right now. So yun po yung example natin ng paggamit ng possum strategy sa pag-breakdown ng word into its different components para maging mas malinaw ang ibig sabihin ng word. And we have here a graphic organizer, a possum graphic organizer that teachers can use to help them break down the words for their learners. And this organizer or this worksheet will be made available to you after today's webinar. So there, that's the possum graphic organizer or the possum strategy. So sana maalala po natin yung ibig sabihin ng POSSUM. And this activity just tells us that when learners say the word today is swoop. Can you repeat the word? So sasabihin nila, they will say it back to you, swooped. And then they see the word kasi susulat ni teacher yung spelling ng word na swoop. And then you break it down into sounds, no? And then you use the word in different contexts. All of these things that you do, they provide hooks. They provide different hooks for the child to remember the word swoop and remember how its meaning and how it's used. Let's try it out, okay? Let's try it out. Kayo naman po yung sasagot. Kayo naman po yung mga estudyante ko. Are you guys ready? All right. Our target word today is the word brave. Brave. As in this sentence, no? The brave firefighters swooped into the burning building to rescue the family trapped inside. So if you notice, I also use the word swoop. So kunyari, tinuro ko na yung word na swoop kanina. Ginamit natin siya to swoop is to describe the action of the bird. But here, we're also using the word swoop to describe the action of the firefighters as they were rescuing a family. Okay. So our word today is brave. So I just wanted to share na you can use the word that you already unlocked before. Make sure that you use it in a different context kasi repeated exposure to the same word helps cement or helps solidify what the word means. But our target word is brave. And the word brave, can you repeat after me? Can you say brave? All right. How many sounds do you hear in the word brave? Sige nga po, bilangin po natin. How many sounds do you hear in the word brave? I will wait for your answers in the chat box. How many sounds do you hear in the word brave? Yes. Thank you. 4 sounds. Okay. Brave. Let's say the sounds. B, R, A, V. Okay, so there are 4 sounds in the word brave. How many syllables po ang word na brave? Syllables naman po tayo. So kanina, how many sounds? B, R, A, V. There are 4 sounds in the word brave. How many syllables naman po in the word brave? Tama, no? So may nagsabi, 4 sounds with the magic E. The word brave actually has 4 sounds. B, R. Yung B at R, consonant cluster po siya, pero considered po siyang 2 separate sounds, no? And the word brave only has 1 syllable, brave. Isa lang po yung ating vowel sound dyan. Ang vowel sound ay the long A sound, brave. Isang syllable lang po. So brave has 1 syllable, brave. So kailangan po natin siyang i-break down, no, para malinaw sa mga estudyante natin. The word brave has 4 sounds and it's composed of only 1 syllable. Next, what are the letters that we use to spell the word brave? The letters are B, R, A, V, E. And we can break this down by sound. So isusulat po natin yung spelling ng word na brave. Okay, remember class, we have 4 sounds in the word brave. The first sound is B. What letter do we use to represent the B sound? B. So susulat natin B. The next sound in the word brave, B, R. The R sound is represented by the letter R. So we write the letter R. Next, the A sound, B, R, A, V. The A sound is a long vowel sound and we use the magic E to write the sound A. So you can write A, tapos mag-leave kayo ng space, tapos may letter E dun sa dulo. So ganun po yung pagsulat ng magic, yung A sound natin. A with the E at the end. And then the final sound is V. You write the letter V between the letters A and E. Alright? So there. Thank you so much for spelling it out in the chat box. So in this part, i-explain natin kung meron po bang mga spelling rules na dapat masunod sa spell ng word na brave. And in this case, ang spelling rule natin is the magic E rule, which some of you already mentioned, no? I saw it already. The long A sound is represented by A consonant E because the magic E makes the vowel say its name, brave. All right. Now, let's look at the sentence and see the function of the word brave in this sentence. The brave firefighters swooped into the burning building to rescue the family trapped inside. Ano ang function o ano ang gamit ng salitang brave in this sentence? In this sentence, the firefighters are described by the word brave. Ano ang quality ng firefighters? They are brave. So the brave firefighters in this sentence, this is a describing word. All right? And the meaning of the word brave here means the firefighters were willing to do something even if it is scary. So the word brave means even if you're scared, you are still going to do it. Okay? So he explained to them, is it scary for the firefighters to go inside the burning building? Yes, kasi they might also get trapped inside. But because they are brave, they are willing to do it even if it's really scary. All right. And then we use the word in other contexts. We can now ask the students, kayo, sino-sino sa inyo yung mga kilala ninyong brave? Aside from the firefighters, sino-sino pa ang mga kilala ninyong tao or other other community helpers or actually real people? Meron ba kayong mga kilalang mga brave people? People who are willing to do something even if it's scary? Yes. And then you can wait for them to volunteer to respond kung sino-sino yung mga kilala nilang brave people. So, sasabihin na, teacher, yung kapatid ko po brave kasi po, pumasok po siya dun sa madilim na kwarto, hindi po siya natatakot, ganyan. So, that's also being brave, di ba? Alright. Ayan, so may sumagot dito, my father is brave. And then you can have the students explain, why do you say that your father is brave? And then they will give the context or the situation that shows how the father showed bravery in a certain context, no? And then finally, we can talk about related words. So again, dito papasok yung morphology aspect, yung pag-breakdown ng word into its component parts. The word brave is actually the basic word, no? Yun na po yung root word. So wala na po, hindi na po natin siya mabe-breakdown into parts, but we can discuss related words. So brave, if you are comparing two people that are brave, you can add the suffix er to say braver. Okay? Ayan. So thank you so much. Pumapasok po nga natin ngayon sa ating chat box yung mga other people who can be brave. And I saw soldiers, teachers, health workers, parents, all of these are also brave. So yan yung paggamit ng word na brave in other contexts. And then we can discuss related words like braver, bravest, bravery. No, bravery is the noun pertaining to the word brave. So yan yung mga pwede nating i-discuss na related words since the word brave itself has no other components. Alright. So malinaw na po ba? Sana po maalala natin yung paggamit ng POSSUM in defining and describing the word. And by using the POSSUM or the possum strategy, we make sure that the words stick in our learners. Alright. Mothers are brave. Doctors are brave. Frontliners are brave. So thank you so much for all of your responses. Now, we go to the final step, diba? First step, sabi natin, select. Select the word. The word is swoop and the word is brave. Dalawa po yung words na tinry natin. We prepared a kid-friendly definition of the word swoop and the word brave. And then we designed the activity, the possum strategy. Now we will develop assessment naman. Develop an assessment to check kung naintindihan ba talaga nila. And now we can do a word sort activity. Word sorts, are you familiar with word sorts? Basically, you just give the students a group of words and you will ask them to sort the words based on shared features. And the way they sort the words can be in different ways. Pwedeng ipasort according to the meaning of the word, pwedeng ipasort according to the spelling of the word, pwede ring ipasort according to the parts of speech. Adjective po ba? Lahat po ba ng adjectives magkakasama or lahat ng describing words magkakasama? Lahat ng nouns magkakasama, lahat ng action words magkakasama. There are two kinds of sorting activities, open sorts and closed sorts. We'll go to that later. But the really nice thing about word sorts that I like is that it's very, very flexible. Pwede siyang individually done. So lahat ng bata, may copy sila ng words. And then you ask them to sort it individually, or they can work in pairs, they can work in small groups, they can collaborate, negotiate, discuss with each other. Ay, dapat ito yung mga magkakasama. And then they hear each other's reasoning, and then they get to experience how it is to work with other people. So yan yung that's what I like about word sorts. All right. Sabi natin, dalawang klase ng sorting activity, yung open sort at saka yung closed sort. When you say open sort, you actually just give the words, the group of words to the learners and then tell them, paano nyo pagsasama-samahin tong mga words na to? Okay? Kayo bahala. Isipin ninyo kung anin dapat dito yung mga magkakasama, tapos explain mo sa akin kung bakit pinagsama-sama mo sila. So that's open sort. Kasi it's open-ended. The learners are able to think about how they can categorize the words based on their own thinking. So it encourages flexible thinking, creativity, and logical reasoning. Kasi walang tama o maling sagot. Kailangan lang ma-explain ng mga learners kung bakit ganun, bakit yun yung mga pinili niyang pinagsama-sama. Alright? So that's open sort. Later, we're gonna try. Okay, next. Closed sort. Closed sort naman, si teacher yung magbibigay ng category. So, I'll give you this group of words. I want you to sort them by function. I want all the naming words together. I want all the describing words together. So, in the closed sort, the teacher provides the categories in advance and the learners will sort them according to the categories given by the teacher. And this is more useful for assessing their understanding. Chine-check natin, naintindihan ba niya talaga? Alright? Naintindihan ba niya talaga yung pinapagawa ko? Naintindihan ba niya talaga yung mga words na pinapasort ko? This is an example, no? So, kasi kanina, yung sa book natin, si Tori the Brave, we talked about cicadas, one of the insects there. Okay, so we can give, and then may crow din po doon. So we can give something like this. Parang ano siya, no? Picture cards na may words doon po sa baba. Tapos, sasabihin natin sa mga bata, ano yung mga, alin dito yung dapat na magkakasama? Alright? So I will give you time. I'll give you 1 minute to group these words. Babasahin ko sa inyo ha. Cicada, butterfly, bee, crane, cricket, crow, bluebird, buzzard. Which of these words should be together? I want you to try to do the word sort, okay? I want to see in the chat box, if you are the learner, how will you group these words together? Which of these words will you put in one group, and which of these words will you put in another group? Sige, I'll give you 1 minute. Ayan, may lumabas na. We can sort them according to their categories. They can be, ito, lumabas po ito. Kinds of birds and kinds of insects. Birds versus insects. So yan po yung one of the ways by which we can sort the words. Alright? Whether they are birds or insects. And we also said that we can also use the spelling to do word sorts. So we can put all the letters or all the words that start with the letter B. Bee, butterfly, bluebird, at buzzard, they all begin with the letter B, so magkakasama sila. Words that start with the letter C, cicada, crane, cricket, and crow. May mga nakita akong interesting ways to sort the words also. May nakita ako. You can also group them by whether or not they are predators or preys. Ayan. So, napakaganda, no? So, tumatawid na po siya sa science. Predators versus preys. So, different ways by which you can sort the words. Yan po yung tinatawag natin na open sort kasi hindi natin sila binibigyan ng categories and then we ask them to just group and then explain bakit magkakasama sila. Alright? So, by letters, by insects, or by type of animal, you can also do it by movement. Kasi meron po dyang hindi exactly lumilipad. Alright? Ayan. Another example is in makabansa. Tama ba? Makabansa. Alright. So, give them these community helpers and then ask them, alin po ba dito yung dapat na magkakasama? Okay? So again, police, officer, teacher, firefighter, veterinarian, librarian, construction worker, farmer, mayor, at nurse. So we have a list of 9 words and then we're gonna ask our students, how do we want to sort these words? Okay? So we can ask them to sort them by syllable. Words that have only 1 syllable, 2 syllables, 3 syllables, 4 syllables, or 5 syllables. Tama, no? We can sort them by syllable. Pati yung kanina, yung bee, cicada, yan, pwede rin siyang sort by syllables. White and blue collar job, by duties. Yes, sorting by, we can't really sort them by gender because all these words can be applicable to to genders. Pwedeng may nurse na babae at lalaki. So mahirap po siya if by gender po siya. So again, mahirap po ito pag gagawin nating by gender, but we can do other ways by which we can sort this. So pwedeng by work categories. Alin dyan yung mga community helpers that help with public safety? Alin dyan yung mga community helpers na may kinalaman sa education? Ayan, so that's one way. Yung kanina, yung by syllable. You can also do it, for example, by according to the place of work. Are they mostly indoors? Are they mostly working indoors? Are they mostly working outdoors? Yan. So again, these are just examples. Ayan, nakita natin, no? Office or outside? Tama po. Yes, not gender. According to Kakolab Jenner. Kasi magiging gender biased. And we don't want that for our learners. All right. So we can sort them by kind of job, by syllable, by place of work. And we see that word sorts encourage critical thinking and cognitive flexibility. Cognitive flexibility talks about how we can think about something in different ways. Kasi maraming paraan na masort yung mga words. Hindi lang siya isang paraan. So we encourage them to think out of the box at divergent yung thinking. Hindi iisang tamang sagot. So ganda ng word sorts. Alright? And it can be used as pre or post-lesson assessment. So i-check natin, naintindihan ba talaga nila yung lesson natin on sounds? Nabibilang ba talaga nila yung sounds? Alam ba nila yung spelling ng word? Alam ba nila yung meaning ng word? So all of these different components, no, matetest natin using word sorts. All right, we're almost done. We're down to our last activity. Our last activity is another game. Let's play a game. So teacher will say, I'm going somewhere and I'll only bring certain things with me. You have to listen carefully and figure out the rule about what I can bring. So for example, the teacher will say, I'm going to the zoo and I will bring a sandwich. Again, the teacher will say, I'm going to the zoo and I will bring a sandwich. And then I'll ask you guys, kunyari kayo yung mga learners ko, okay, Kakolab Jennifer, what will you bring if you are going to the zoo? I will tell you if you can come with me or not based on your answer. All right? Kakolab Gina, tell me, what will you bring to the zoo? Sige nga po. Something that's related to the word sandwich. Kasi teacher will bring a sandwich. I will bring a sandwich and then I'm gonna tell you if you can come with me or not. All right. I saw an answer. Kakulab, Christine, you can come with me because you're going to bring cupcake. Okay? Okay. Ang bilis ng mga sagot. Teacher IVG. Alright, sabi niya, naku, nawala na yung, nawala na yung, si Kakolab. Oh my gosh, I can't read. It's too fast. Water. Alright. Water. Sige, pwede kang sumama sa akin. Okay, water. Biscuit. Pwede kang sumama sa akin. Si Kakolab, Catherine, sabi niya bread. Bread, hindi ka pwedeng sumama sa akin. Okay? So, ang pwedeng sumama, water, cookies, biscuit, burger, ayan, muffin, pancake, cheesecake. Ayan. Ano yung similarities po nitong mga to? Ang chocolate, hindi po pwedeng sumama. Ang bread, hindi pwedeng sumama. So, again ha, water, cupcake, pancake, burger, hot dog, pwede. Alright. These are, ayan, fruits. Hindi po pwede ang fruits. Hindi po kayo makakasama Kakolab, Giselle. Kakolab, John Carlo, yes, you can bring water and you can come with me. Alright. So, ano po ang pagkakapareho ng sandwich, water, biscuit, cookie? Yes, I saw the answers. Kakolab Angel, Kakolab Donna, you said 2-syllable words. So, ang mga makakasama lang po sa atin ay yung mga magdadala ng 2-syllable words. So, ang spaghetti, hindi pwede kasi spaghetti. 3-syllable word na po siya. Camera, hindi rin po pwede. Camera. Ang sunglass, 2-syllable word siya, pero hindi siya pagkain. Kaya hindi rin siya pwedeng sumama. Kasi ang category natin ay pagkain na 2 syllables. So, water can be considered pagkain. Tama ba? Alright. Ang snake, wag naman po. May snake na po sa zoo. Wag na po tayong magdala ng snake. Alright. Sige, let's try another one, okay? Let's try another game. So again, this time I'm going to the beach and I'll bring a bag. Okay? I'm going to the beach and I'll bring a bag. What are your answers? What will you bring to the beach? And I will tell you if you can come with me or not. Ayan. So, thank you so much for your answers. No, hot dog, peanut, biscuit, ice cream is also a 2-syllable word. Pastry is also a 2-syllable word. So, you guys can come with me. But let's move on to going to the beach. Tapos na tayo sa zoo. Beach naman tayo. Sa beach, we're going to bring a bag. Okay. Si Kakolab Corazon, hat daw. O, ang hat hindi po pwedeng sumama. But si Sheen pwede pong sumama. Magdadala siya ng ball. Si Kakolab Gladys will also bring a ball. So the ball can come with me. If you're going to bring a ball, you can come with me. What else will you bring? A bat. Sino yung sumagot ng bat? Yes, you can come with me if you're going to bring a bat. So bat, ball, balloon. Si Kakolab Leila will bring a balloon. You can come with me. Alright? Kakolab Melody will bring a bell. And you can come with me. Kakolab Maki will bring a book. You can come with me. So what's our category? Bat, ball, book, bell, belt. Ano po itong mga to? You can come with me only if you're going to bring a boy. Yes, a boy and a box and bread. Or you can come with me if you're going to bring words that begin with the letter B. So none of those begin with the letter B. So you cannot, if you're not going to bring a word that begins with the letter B, you cannot come with me. So again, that's an example of a word sort na game version, okay? And then we can help our students figure out the similarities among words. So we're winding down. So again, the game, what can you bring? It builds vocabulary and concept knowledge. So na-enhance yung na-enhance yung ability nila to elicit words. It encourages active thinking. They have to think about, si pwedeng sumama. Ano kaya yung pwede kong dalhin para makasama rin ako, okay? And categorization. Bakit pwedeng sumama si ball pero hindi pwedeng sumama si hat? Ganyan. Ano yung pagkakapareho ni ball at saka ni bag? Ganyan. and it practices their listening skills. Kasi they have to listen to their classmates, what their classmates are saying. Then they reason. Ano ba yung magkakapareho? It strengthens their working memory and attention. So ang ganda, no? Ang daming pwedeng benefits ng the game called What Can You Bring, which is just a variation of our word sort strategy. Ayan. Finally, we are down to reflecting. So we have discussed the different strategies that we can use and the different steps, no, that we can use to teach vocabulary explicitly. I want you naman to think or reflect and apply. Ano yung mga gagawin ninyo pagbalik ninyo sa classrooms on Monday? Meron po ba kayong mga strategies that you think you will use? So you can choose any of these sentence stems. You can say, I would use blank strategy to teach blank words because blank. I learned that teaching vocabulary can be or should be blank. To help my learners who have vocabulary difficulties, I can blank. I used to think that vocabulary is blank, think blank. Okay? So, thank you so much for your active participation dun sa game natin. Now, I want also to see your active participation in our last activity, which is reflect and apply. We really appreciate your participation in our game. It made it more interactive. So, alam kong nakikinig kayo. All right. So, you can choose any of these sentence stems. You can type your answers in the chat box. Ayan, so from Kakolab Kristia, teaching vocabulary should be engaging and effective. Teacher Kakolab Ivy said, I would use the possum strategy. So yan, thank you so much for that. I think we have a principal here. Sabi niya, I monitor the teacher if they apply what we have today. Babantayan daw niya yung mga teachers, okay? If the strategies will be applied. Kakolab Edna said, to motivate my learners, I will use the game. What can you bring? Kakolab Errol says, I will use the word sort strategy in teaching vocabulary. Not just in teaching, no, Kakolab Errol, but also in assessing whether or not they got it. All right, so it can be used both for teaching and assessment. From Kakolab Sally, I learned that teaching, From Kakolab Crystal, I learned that teaching vocabulary can be fun when the teachers will do it in the way of a game to encourage learners to be more engaged without pressure. I learned that teaching vocabulary can be fun. Thank you so much for that, Kakolabs. So again, thank you also for those who said that they will use the possum strategy. Yay! So yung POSSUM natin, no? Alalahanin natin that there are many ways by which we can hook the word doon sa brains ng ating mga learners, and we use POSSUM or the possum strategy to help them remember. Ayan. So Kakolab Alwin said, open sort strategy. Kakolab Jonalyn, I would like to apply this in my class, especially for my struggling readers. I really love the possum strategy. And the possum strategy is really effective for struggling readers kasi sometimes we bypass the phonological aspect and the orthographic aspect of the word, no? Yung pagbigkas at yung pag-spell ng word kasi feeling natin, vocabulary naman yung tinuturo ko, so hindi na nila kailangan ma-memorize yung spelling. But really, all these parts, they work together para talagang matutunan yung word, not just the meaning of the word, because vocabulary is more than just understanding the meaning of the word, but we also know how it's spelled, how it's used in a sentence, no? Kaya napakahalaga nung possum strategy. So thank you so much for that. And our key takeaways for today, vocabulary is foundational for reading comprehension. We saw very early on in our first activity how important vocabulary is. So, if readers can read but they don't understand the words, they can't really understand. We cannot say that they are really reading with comprehension if they don't have the vocabulary. So vocabulary is foundational for reading comprehension. Isa lang siya sa mga ingredients, no, pero mahalagang ingredient siya. Okay? Explicit vocabulary instruction is intentional. Sinasadya po nating matutunan nila yung mga words na gusto nating matutunan nila. It is multidimensional. We unlock the word in different dimensions. Sounds, spelling, syllables, how it's used, no, or function niya sa sentence. And then not just the meaning. Yun yung mahalagang maintindihan natin. Hindi lang meaning, okay? And we can flexibly apply these strategies when we are teaching vocabulary. Finally, vocabulary grows when learners hear the words, see the words. Sinispell out siya ni teacher. They say the words. So repeat after me, no? They break down the word. So incomparable, comparable. And then they use the word repeatedly. Yung paulit-ulit na paggamit ng word in different contexts that helps them remember, retain, cement the words in their minds.